bit of a different video today. For one, some commentary. Two, quite a bit of landscape photography. So in this first part, I'm covering half of the trip, the South Island. This was the first 4 days of the Ring Road. On this trip I brought the X100VI with a wide teleconverter, making it a 28mm, and I also brought the GR IIIX with the GT-2 turning it into a 75mm. So we visited the very busy Gezirs and hot springs on the Golden Circle, which is a route near Reykjavik, the capital city, before heading to our accommodation. It's just a small taster of Iceland on that first day. Day 2, first full day, Kavunafoss, stunning waterfall, hidden away just 5 minutes from its bigger brother Skogafoss. You can stand behind the waterfall itself, rainbows were appearing, and it was very quiet, so highly recommend it. Overall, I was impressed with the WCL-X100 wide teleconverter. Really sharp, well built, and it's just fitting seamlessly onto the body. I love this location, little pockets of light coming in and out. The Ricoh makes its first appearance on this first full day. I bring it out when I see these mountains in the distance. I just wanted to compress those peaks, and I knew that there were some clouds. So in the small town of Vik, I was drawn to the church on the hill throughout the hour or two in this little town. Once you've seen one Icelandic church, you've probably seen them all. Yeah, they're more pretty than they are diverse, I would say. I found the church getting repainted, a great sight, and here it frames the dramatic coastline very nicely. So as you can see here, I've taken as many photos of street lamps as waterfalls. Not sure why I'm obsessed, but in this case I thought it paired well with the minimalist church. Grabbed a coffee on the packed school bus. I was sat at the front awkwardly, between the till and the customers. Coffee was okay, price at about £7 or £8, that's inexcusable, but once in a lifetime. So the black sand beaches, one side was backlit, the other side was packed with people, and there was a great contrast of white waves with the dark pebbles. If I was to come again, I would definitely walk westbound away from the crowds. So if you've done any sort of research on these black sand beaches, you'll know that you have to be careful of the tide times and the sneaker waves, of which I thought I came face to face with one here. That's why I flinched and dashed. To be fair to both cameras, I think they struggled a bit with the direct sunlight across the trip. It's not a huge surprise. And after returning home, I had some time to myself with my phone in its last few moments. The vapour from the waterfall earlier was too much for the supposed waterproof Pixel 7. That turned into some good luck as moments later the Northern Lights came out for the first time on the trip. Grabbed my little Manfrotto tripod, whacked it on top of the car, which was parked outside our accommodation. Honestly, a moment I won't forget, a very special moment. So on day 3 we started in a nearby canyon. There was some really harsh light. It wasn't the most flattering for the canyon itself, so as you can see here I fell into my own trap of taking photos of structures and people. So we saw this mountain while driving across the south coast towards the Glacier Lagoon. Had to park up, had to take a photo of it with some people and cars for scale. Wind was brutal, but it was worth getting these photos. Later we arrived at the Glacier Lagoon and literally took my breath away. As you can see here, so excited I forgot the car keys in the Dacia Duster, the blues, the excitement of everyone around, the seals bobbing along, the sheer scale of the glacier in the distance. This area just presented itself. I had no expectation. I knew it was on the ring road. I then visited the famous Diamond Beach, just a short walk away from the lagoon, but there was little to no ice left, so clearly the Instagram mittens had got there before us and melted them all. In any case, the lagoon was the headline act. And on the way to the Diamond Beach, had some fun with the slow shutter of the X100VI by the bridge. Cars, people flying by with the icebergs in the distance. So just before leaving to go back on the ring road, I saw a wedding shoot on the top of the hill overlooking the lagoon. Slightly surreal, actually very surreal. I couldn't help myself though, so I nabbed a few shots. So day 4 consisted of a really long journey along the east coast, so there was a main focus on Stogsness. The reflections, the scale of the mountains, the jagged form, and of course, there's still the coast right next to it. For the Fuji photos, I've edited the raw files in Lightroom using Classic Chrome. I rarely shoot 16:9 or 16:10, but a substantial number of the landscapes worked better, trimming the top and bottom off. For the Ricoh, I've edited half of them approximately with the positive film simulation and the other half with the hard monochrome. There's a really interesting mix of old industry and new research facilities dotted around the mountain range. It's bizarre, but in a good way, and I think the black and white images out of the Ricoh did a great job of capturing it. Love the contrast in these photos. So the final area we checked out on day 4 was this stunning mountain and beach range on the southeast corner of the island. It's a nature reserve. Not a single lens was changed on this trip, just 2 cameras at the ready, both small, both fitting in the sling, sometimes in my jacket pockets, and ready to shoot at all times. So I hope this video was a relaxing one, and that it could transport you some of the way to Iceland. If you haven't been, go. If you haven't planned, plan. The next episode will consist of the following 4 days along the north and the west of the island. That includes whale watching, more canyons, more waterfalls, Reykjavik, and 3 nights of Northern Lights. And I hope you can join me for that. Subscribe if you'd like to.